Hello again. Today's footage we're getting back to milling the largest log that I have had on the mill so far. This is the first log I've ever had to trim down. It was 34 inches by 31 inches at the butt and 17 feet long. And I don't actually think I measured the top. There was a decent taper. I mean, you can see from the size difference between the two logs, there's a decent, decent taper to it. But I did have to trim it down to get it so that the bandsaw would pass over it. And I thought, this is a nice big fresh log. I'm going to put a new band on it, new saw on it. Got some water out there, got some, trying to get everything ready and prepped. And Emily was out there, and she decided that since she was going to be here to help roll the logs with me, she would take advantage of her time out here and play with Charlie and get rid of some tansy, because that's always something that we need to get rid of out here. And yeah, if I had known when I prepped this and put the new blade on that right here, I was going to find a screw or a nail or something. I would, yep, right there. You can't really tell, I mean, in the footage, other than the fact that I heard it and I pulled back a little bit, kind of flinched as I was going forward. I ended up actually cutting the entire log, if I remember correctly, with that blade, because I didn't want to dull another blade in the process. I'm trying to remember. I might have actually changed the blade once. So towards the end, there was a little bit of waviness in some of them. And here you can see the first two nails that I hit, showing Emily in the footage there too. I mean, it's actually kind of cool the way it stains the wood, but oh nope, I lied. I did change the blade this time. So anyway, I think I hit a total of 6 nails. So this particular tree was clearly used as a signpost or something. But out of all the logs I've done so far, those are the first nails that I've actually hit. So I'd say the odds are pretty good so far. But it still sucks. The turning of a log this large has definitely proven to be a challenge, and as you can see, it definitely shifted the mill. I got lucky, and it ended up being 90 degrees and stable on that particular side, so that was definitely, I would hate to have had to try and finagle it. I think that's actually what we had to do, if I remember right, with this side. Yeah, see, we had to try and position it to get it right to that 90-degree point. And all things considered, this little tractor has been a good tractor to have. It's definitely not as big as I would like it to be, but we'll get that fixed now that we're, not in the middle of a pandemic where there are massive, major supply chain shortages. We ended up with a 35 horsepower tractor because nobody could get a 60 horsepower tractor, which is what we were actually originally trying to get. It was kind of a super annoying scenario. We had ordered a 55 horse tractor from Kubota, and after 3 months or 4 months actually, we ordered it in December, and in March of 2022 we said, hey, where's the tractor? They said, we don't know. I'm searching here around the tractor for where this little bolt came from. That turned out to be a little bit of a frustration. I couldn't figure out even where it looked like the bolt came from. Thanks to one of the Facebook groups, there's a Pacific Northwest Facebook group that has been awesome for woodland mill owners. Somebody suggested it looked like the bolt that is in the cant hook, and that actually turned out to be exactly what it is. So I got a nut for it and put it back in. But anyway, the supply chain shortage, they couldn't tell me when it was supposed to be even shipped to America to receive the tractors. That they had lots and lots of 20, 25-ish and a few 35 horsepower range, but they couldn't get anything that was bigger, or without going to the giant stuff that was way bigger than what we need or want. So I ended up approaching Yanmar and saying, hey, here's what's going on. Can you get me what I need? And they said, sure, we have this 60 horsepower or 59 horsepower that'll work. And I said, okay, when can you get me one? And they said, well, we have one on the ship. And I said, oh, sweet, so it'll be here in a couple of days? And they said, nope, we have stuff on that ship that's been there for a month already. So I said, okay, well, put my name on one and we'll see what happens. And a month and a half later, that ship was still sitting in the harbor waiting to be offloaded. So I approached LS and did the same thing. And they didn't want to work with our credit, so we ended up not going with LS. So we ended up going back to Kubota, and I said, look, what have you got in stock that has a backhoe on it? And they said, well, we've got this 3560 that has the backhoe. And I said, okay, I'll take it. And that Saturday we drove home with a shiny new tractor that was half the size that we wanted. But it's been a huge blessing to have. We wouldn't have even been able to do 90% of the stuff that we've done without having this tractor. So it's been a huge blessing. I just look forward to getting one that's slightly bigger, got a little bit more pulling power, and definitely got some more lifting power. So what we're doing now in the video is working on. I had gotten a message from the in one of the Facebook groups that a possible location of where that screw might have come from. So I was looking there and shared a picture of that with them. But anyway, so I guess the throat, the cut depth of what you can actually take for the thickness of a slab on this mill is like 7.5 inches or something like that. So what I'm doing now is just taking 6-inch slabs off of the main log and then setting them aside so that I can roll the log, and then we'll put them back on the mill sideways so that I can then take more passes, and we'll take 2-inch boards off the top of that. And that was it had turning this log was enough that it moved the mill, so we decided we had to try and straighten that out there. These are very heavy, very, very heavy. Based on the estimated weight of the log itself, we figured that since one of these is like a fourth to a fifth of the entire log, that these probably weigh somewhere in the range of about 500 pounds each, maybe a little bit more. So they're definitely bigger, and that, as you saw, was a much easier way of putting it back on the mill. That went much smoother than I anticipated. So, hey, whatever works. Someday I plan to get a grapple, which I don't know if the grapple would really have benefited in this case, because it would actually decrease the total weight that I could pick up. The grapple weighs probably 3-4 times what the forks weigh, because you've got a lot more metal there, you've got the hydraulics, you've got the fluid, so all of that gets taken away from the total lifting capacity of the tractor. So the forks actually work pretty well. We'll see, what the future brings. I'll get a grapple for sure. That's actually not a question. It's just a matter of if this scenario would have benefited from a grapple or not. But at this point, these actually go fairly quickly, although I am running out of daylight here. But these first couple passes I took off a little bit thicker than I normally would. So I actually took just right around 2 inches off, and I'm stacking all of that aside because, as you can see, kind of behind the tractor forks, there's a big pile of offcuts, and I need to get that cleaned up soon. But I don't really want to use good squared lumber for those offcuts, or for the slab rack to cut, to use a chainsaw and cut things down into firewood. So I'm figuring that, since this is good strong Doug fir, I might as well use the offcuts from this to build that slab rack, and that's my hope and plan. So all of the offcuts that were big enough to do that have been set aside there, which means that I'm not getting as much material for stickers as I normally would, and I'm not getting as much material for smaller 2x2, 3x3, 2x4. In fact, I didn't even actually take any 2x4s or smaller off intentionally. Everything is a 2x6 or bigger. And I need to go recount. I've actually got one more cut to make the last 2x6s out of the slabs, and then I can get a final count. But so far I think I'm up to 40 2x6s, 5 2x8s, 6 2x10s, and 8 2x12s out of this log, and they're all 8 foot long. So I'm pretty sure I've actually gotten enough material from this one log to completely finish the subflooring in the spare room trailer. So today, for instance, it's the 2nd. Yes, this I was almost to the point where I was going to make another pass, and I started moving forward, and I thought, it's been a while since I checked the log stop height. And I'm glad I did, because as you see there, I would have actually hit that log stop. So I ended up adjusting all of those. But yeah, it's been a good log to get milled. So today's goal is going to be to put a couple of cottonwoods on there and get some 1-inch slabs cut and milled today and get them ready to go so that I can put them down as my mouse/bug barrier on the bottom of the flooring, which will be on the underside of the insulation, and then I can throw all of this flooring down and actually have a usable space. So here's where the camera ran out, but thank you as always for watching. God bless you and yours, and stay safe out there.